Hey everybody. Sorry for my demeanor on this one. Um, I didn't know whether to mention this or not, but um, just in case some people can tell by my appearance that I don't look too jolly. I had another guinea pig death. I had been told, like Uncle Bill told me, and some other people have told me recently how fragile these creatures are. Um, and I'm really seeing it. I did not see it at first. Um, Everything seemed to be going along well with my first two guinea pigs, Rusty and Honey. Um, and then Honey passed away, I believe, and still believe, from old age because she was a rescue. I didn't know how old she was. Um, and she passed away earlier in this year in February. I think I had her for about a year and a half. Um, Rusty remained, and I had her for 2 years, which you can probably figure out by me saying this, which one of them is fast. But after Honey passed away, I didn't want Rusty to be lonely, and so I got Ripley. Ripley lived 6 months and passed away in August suddenly. I didn't have any idea that anything was wrong. And from my reading, sometimes you don't because guinea pigs are good at hiding their illnesses, not only from their owners, but from other guinea pigs in their herd because they are prey animals and they don't want to seem weak because in the wild they can get kicked out of their herd and then there's nobody to protect them and they're, you know, at risk for any predator that comes along, and they carry that with them. Even domesticated guinea pigs do. So um, I checked on the guinea pigs this morning, and both were fine or appeared to be fine. Rusty seemed fine. Uh, I mean, she seemed fine all the way. However, I don't know if there was something hidden going on or I just don't know. And this afternoon, I went back in the room to try to retrieve a DVD and found her. Um, she wasn't gone yet, but she was in the process of it. And I'm sorry, I don't want to bring people down, but I just basically, the only thing I could do was hold her and talk to her until she passed. So there's only Jody left. Steve suggested maybe I give Jody to a rescue. And I just can't do it. I can't. A guinea pig I've had about 2 weeks. I can't envision, giving her away to a rescue. And maybe that would be the best thing for her. I don't know. I'm doing things the way I always did, and just suddenly it seems like I'm losing all my guinea pigs. So I'm not sure what is going on. Um, but I hope that people, I'm being brave enough to say this on here. So I'm hoping that people won't judge me or judge my pet parenting. Um, and that I get a lot of flack for this because, guys and gals, I'm really hurting right now. And I'm only telling you guys and gals this because you may notice that something is not 100% right with me right now. So, um, I don't mean this to be mean, but I would appreciate people not judging me on here in advance. I'm not saying anybody would, and putting not very nice comments because I'm already hurting, and I don't need that extra on there. So just if you can, please refrain from doing that. Sorries or, you're in my thoughts, stuff like that is fine. But just try not to be judgmental or too harsh on me during this time. So, anyway, let's get on to some brighter subjects. And I probably won't be on here very long, mainly because these don't usually last very long, these promotional things. And two, I'm just wanting to go and rest and try to take my mind off things for a little bit. So, uh, the first one for Saturday, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, will be Children of the Corn. This is a Stephen King adaptation of a short story from Night Shift. And this movie over the years has taken a lot of flack for, a lot of people say it's not a very good movie. It's kind of silly. He Who Walks Behind the Rose wasn't well developed in the film. But we're talking about 1984 here, guys and gals. The chances of them being able to um, present He Who Walks Behind the Rose the way Stephen King wrote it. Here's the thing, and I know a lot of people know this. When a writer writes things, they've kind of got carte blanche to describe something any way they want to. But when it gets turned into a movie, and especially gets turned into a movie back in 1984, special effects were limited back then. And now they could probably make He Who Walks Behind the Rose closer to the way Stephen King wrote He Who Walks Behind the Rose. Um, so, although it might not be the best adaptation of a Stephen King work, um, I think that the acting in this, I mean, Linda Hamilton's in this, Peter Horton, they're like the main two characters in this. I think the two main children in this film are fantastic. Um, and also, John Franklin, who plays Isaac, and Courtney Gaines, who plays Malachi in this, I think they both knock it out of the ballpark. You can see, uh, you can see John Franklin. See, my mind is all over the place. You can see John Franklin right here, and John Franklin was a lot older than he appears in this. He's one of those people that they can be older, but they still look young. Kind of like Peter Bark, only not as odd looking, I guess would be the best way to say that. Um, and then Courtney Gaines is just as fantastic in the role of Malachi in this. I think those two actors steal the show in this um, because they really make you believe that they are these evil entities. Um, Basically, Children of the Corn is a cult to me when I watch this. And so that aspect of it is very, very frightening if you think about it. So, so basically what happens, and I'm just going to give a really quick and dirty plot synopsis. So, Linda Hamilton and Peter Horton, they star as a young couple who find themselves lost in the back roads of Nebraska, eventually winding up in the seemingly deserted town of Gatlin. But the town is far from empty, as the couple soon discover it is inhabited by a twisted cult, and they even call them a cult on here, of murderous children thirsty for another blood sacrifice. So, I'm probably going to be watching. This is a 4K version. I no longer have a Blu-ray version, so I'm probably going to be watching this along with whoever else watches it on YouTube. And I'll just have to be, the reason why I switched to using the Blu-rays is because when I switch back and forth between the chat on StreamYard and YouTube to be watching the movie, sometimes it gets me behind everybody else, but we'll just make do. But so that's going to be Saturday's movie. Again, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The watch along will be for Children of the Corn. Sunday's movie will be The Breakfast Club, and I do have a Blu ray for it. Breakfast Club is a John Hughes movie that came out in 1985. Um, has a fantastic cast, as you can see there. We have Judd Nelson, we have Ali Sheedy, Anthony Michael Hall, Emilio Estevez, and Molly Ringwald there. Um, and there was a time in my life where I would watch every single John Hughes teen movie that I could get my hands on. I absolutely loved them. And I know it was a different time period in the early to mid and even late 80s than it is now. But I just think teen movies were so much better back then. And people may think I'm a little biased, and maybe I am a little bit, because that was the time period I grew up in. The 80s was the time period I grew up in. So um, naturally, I'm going to gravitate more towards these types of teen comedies than I would something now. Um, Even though they would use the F word in movies, like in a lot of movies like this is rated R, and they will talk about sexual situations. There may even be some sex scenes in some of the films, not in this particular film because it takes place in a school and the kids are in detention. And yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. So you won't see any of that in here, but they do talk about sex. There are certain curse words used. So this is not a movie for children. Um, Although I may have watched it a little bit younger than I should have. But, anyways, um, to give you a little bit of a plot synopsis in case there are some of you that haven't experienced The Breakfast Club. So, what happens when five strangers end up together in Saturday detention? Badass posturing, gleeful misbehavior, and a potent dose of angst. With this exuberant, disarmingly candid film, writer director John Hughes established himself as the bard of American youth, vividly and empathetically capturing how teenagers hang out, act up, and goof off. The Breakfast Club brings together an assortment of adolescent archetypes. The uptight popular girl, played by Molly Ringwald, the stoic jock, played by Emilio Estevez, the foul mouthed rebel, played by Judd Nelson, the virginal bookworm, played by Anthony Michael Hall, and the cookie recluse, played by Ali Sheedy, and watches them shed their persona and emerge into unlikely friendships. With its highly quotable dialogue and star making performances, this exploration of the trials of adolescence became an era defining pop culture phenomenon, one whose influence now spans generations. I'm also going to try to find a free copy of this for people to watch that don't own a copy. Hopefully, I'll be able to do so. If not, there may be, excuse me, some versions that you can rent for a few bucks. So, again, Saturday's offering is Children of the Corn, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Followed on Sunday, also starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, The Breakfast Club. So, guys and gals, as I said before, I'm a little bit wiped out and grieving at the moment. Uh, so, I'm going to get on off here, but I did want to let you guys know. I know it's the day before the Saturday watch along. I was a little bit better at this of doing this on a Monday or a Sunday night, but things have just been so hectic lately that I've been a little less than myself. So, thank you guys and gals for watching. I'm going to skedaddle on out of here for now. And I'll see you guys for the watch along, hopefully. Be there or be square. Bye for now.